Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be life updates, kind of where I've been. I abruptly left social media, or just kind of went dark on social media about a month and a half ago. Not intentionally, it's just that my life just very abruptly changed. As you guys you probably read the title, and I was diagnosed with breast cancer in the beginning of March. Very, very suddenly, and what felt like out of nowhere. So I am here to talk to you guys about it today. I feel like I could have maybe kept you guys in the dark about it, but I also felt this like overwhelming sense of responsibility to bring awareness to this because of the way it happened, and because I have a very large female audience on all of my social media. And I just feel like it's very important to tell you guys my story and kind of where I'm at. And I'm ready to be back and kind of get on with my life. I felt like my life kind of went on pause there for the past month and a half. So I am ready to be back and ready to answer questions. So here I am. I'm going to tell my story and kind of let you guys know where I'm at currently. So as you know, I had my son Theo about 10 months ago now. And I was breastfeeding, and it was going fairly well, although he started to eat a lot more and I couldn't really keep up with him. So around December, I started, maybe a little before that, I started to slowly wean off. I kind of did half breast milk, half formula, and just to kind of keep up with his food needs. And he started solids then, so I felt like it was kind of a good time to slowly wean off. I felt like I was ready, so I did that. And then when I got back from holiday break, I guess, or just holidays at home, so January, we came back to New York, and I noticed a lump in my left breast, but it was small. It wasn't anything that like jumped out at me, because if you have breastfed before or just know how your boobs change, when you get pregnant, they just get super firm, I guess, and fill up with milk. And then when you slowly start to wean off, they just change a lot. They kind of deflate. There's a lot of changing going on in your body after you give birth. And so I didn't really think anything of it. I kind of thought like, oh, maybe it was a clogged milk duct, because sometimes I would have that if I would forget to pump or forget to feed or whatever. So I kind of just was like, I'll keep my eye on it. And I didn't want to like panic or think anything of it right away. So then I noticed, like, when I felt like I was like completely dried up, I noticed that it was still there. And I was kind of like, what the heck? It's a little weird. I told Patrick about it, and I was just kind of like a little paranoid. He's like, I'm sure it's nothing. You don't need to worry about it. And I was like, yeah. It's like, maybe I should just go get it checked out. My next menstrual cycle started, and I just woke up with this throbbing pain in my left breast, and I was like, what the heck is going on? And I was like, you know what, it's been a month. I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna get this checked out. It's still not going away. I need to see what this is about. So I made an appointment with my primary care doctor, and I just made an appointment for just like a regular breast exam. So I go in, and I was very emotional because I just kept thinking the worst. And, you know, she was like trying to calm me down. She's like, you know, you're 9 at this point. Like, I was 9 months postpartum. She's like, or like newly 9 months, like coming into 9 months postpartum. And she's like, you know, that like so much is changing in your body. Like, let me check it out. I don't think you have anything to worry about. I told her that I had a lot of pain. And she was, you know, very reassuring, the fact that, you know, most of the time cancer and things like that, it doesn't hurt. So she's like, let's figure out what it is. So she felt it, and she was pretty confident it was a cyst, which I felt very relieved about initially. But I still just had this like gut wrenching feeling that something was wrong. And I just kept thinking the worst, and maybe that was because I had Theo, and I was just like, oh my God, I can't have cancer. I have this new baby who needs me, and like all this. So all these things were floating through my mind. So, you know, she told me she felt it. She's like, it feels like a cyst. You know, I wouldn't worry. And then I was just like, you know, I think I want to get it checked out. I want to look at it. I want to make sure and just confirm. I don't want any like what ifs. So she referred me to get a mammogram and a sonogram just to confirm that it was a cyst. So I had that appointment for the next couple days, or in the next couple days I went in and I got a mammogram and then I got a sonogram. And then I was at the radiologist, and the radiologist called me into a consultation room, and my heart just sank because I just knew I was getting called into the consultation room for some reason other than it's nothing. So she told me that she didn't know what it was and she couldn't confirm anything just yet, but she didn't like the look of it, is what she kept saying. She was confident it wasn't a cyst. She didn't like the look of the lump, and she was like, I really want to get a biopsy of this just to see what it is. So I was like, okay. Another thing she said, she's like, even if it's benign and it's nothing, it's just, I don't want it in you. You're too young. I just feel like it's something we should really look into. So I quickly made an appointment and I scheduled a biopsy of the lump in my left breast, and I went in, got the biopsy punch. This was only a couple days later. This process moved so fast. And I got the biopsy punch, and then probably within a few days, I got a call that made my world just stop, to be honest. I think it was after that call that I completely just went dark on everything. My world just froze. And it just confirmed that it was in fact a malignant tumor. And they were, I don't know, I can't remember now, but I'm pretty sure that was the time I was diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma. After that, it kind of felt like a blur, but I knew I had to kind of just like move quickly, you know, after that was diagnosed. You know, I had doctors calling me nonstop pretty much. And so the next step after that was to get an MRI. So I went in and I got an MRI, and there were additional findings, which again, just made my heart stop. They thought they saw something in the lymph nodes, and they thought they saw something in my right breast. So I then went in for 2 more biopsies, one of my lymph nodes to make sure that it hadn't spread into that area, and then another biopsy of something they found in my right breast. The positive news out of all of that is those were both benign, meaning that there was no cancer and my right breast was fine, and it had not spread into my lymph nodes, which was so great to hear. Because it was probably the first good news I had gotten in like a couple weeks, and it just felt like it was bad news after bad news. So that felt really great to hear that. And then my next step was to find surgeons. So after I knew I had this tumor in my left breast, I had to figure out what surgeons I was going to go with. And as you can imagine, in New York, there's a lot of them. And I was so happy with the ones I found. I absolutely just feel so safe with my doctors, which is what you want to feel. So I found a breast surgeon, which was, you know, you just basically call around, find appointments, and I was able to find a really great breast surgeon, a plastic surgeon for my reconstructive surgery, and a medical oncologist. So those were the 3 doctors that I had to schedule first initial new patient appointments with. First up was the breast surgeon, and she kind of went over, you know, her plan of action and what she recommended. So basically, we kind of decided after, you know, seeing the MRI and seeing the size of the tumor, I wasn't super I didn't have super big boobs before, so, and my left breast was always the smaller one of the 2. So judging by what I would be left with if she just did a lumpectomy, the outcome wasn't going to be as great. So we decided to for sure do a mastectomy on the left breast, just to ensure that the cancer was out, and she knew she was going to have to take some skin where that was around the tumor. And then that was kind of her focus. You know, her focus was the tumor and all of that. So then when I met with the plastic surgeon, the reconstructive surgeon, he kind of talked about my options as far as cosmetically, how I want things to look in the end. Like I had mentioned, my right breast was the bigger of the two. And my biggest thing at this point was just low risk. Like I just did not want this returning. So I kind of steered more into the direction of a double mastectomy, because since I was going to get a single mastectomy on my left side, my plastic surgeon was kind of just saying, you know, I would have an implant reconstructive here and then my natural breast here, and after breastfeeding and just the way my natural breasts ended up, it just wouldn't have worked together the way that I would have wanted them to. So we ended up deciding to do a double mastectomy with reconstructive surgery implants. That was the plan with them. And then I met with my medical oncologist, and this is all still pending, if that makes sense. So I'll explain that a little bit more towards the end. But my medical oncologist kind of went over treatment options depending on what they find in surgery and all of that, and if I'm gonna need chemotherapy and like what the plan is for all of that. So that's all still kind of pending currently. But where I'm at now is on April 7th, I went in for my double mastectomy partial reconstruction, which was great and successful. I'm here, I'm talking to you guys, and I feel so much better than I did even just 5 days ago. So basically we did a double mastectomy and partial reconstruction, which means I have expanders in my chest that we slowly expand, and then I will go in later for an additional surgery for the reconstruction part of it, like the final implant transfer, all of that, and then I will be left with my final chest, hopefully. So that is where we're at. I feel like that was one big breath of a sentence, and I don't even know if I said it all correctly, but that is where I've been. I was going to bring this to YouTube before I got my mastectomy, but they were able to get me in a lot earlier than I thought. I wasn't supposed to have it until the end of April, but then they were able to get me in on the 7th, so I took advantage of that, and that's why I've been gone a little bit longer than anticipated. And I really wanted to just recover physically and mentally as best as I could to bring this to YouTube, and bring this to all of you guys and just share my story. So I don't have like an ending per se that I can give you. I'm still waiting on tests from my tumor to decide my I guess next treatment plan with my oncologist. But the good news, and what makes me so just incredibly thankful, and this is something that's curable for me, and it was the best news I could have gotten out of all of this, is that this is curable and I'm gonna be okay. And I just am so thankful for that. So I don't know as far as like what's next for me, but what I do know is that my tumor is removed and I don't have that in me anymore, which feels so amazing. I'm on the road to being fully healthy again, which is incredible. And I'm just so thankful for just my doctors and people that take their time to learn and study this stuff and help people and like just save lives. It's just so, this experience has been so humbling for me in so many ways. And it just happened all so quickly. I think what really helped me get through a lot of this in the past month and a half has just been obviously the support of my family, my friends, my amazing husband, but also just Theo. I just am so thankful he's healthy, and I think I really focused on that when I was getting all of my calls and all of my results, was like, I'm so happy that it's not him. And my heart goes out to mothers out there that are going through this with their children, because I couldn't even imagine. It's what kept me really strong through a lot of this, was just knowing that, you know, I felt like I could handle it, and I knew if it was Theo, I would trade places with him. So I'm so thankful I'm strong and I'm healthy, and I'm in a position where I could handle all of this, and it wasn't somebody else in my life that maybe couldn't. So I just feel really humbled, like I said, and I am so happy to be back online and feel like my life is somewhat normal again. Like I said in the beginning, it kind of felt like my world just stopped and everything was just put on pause, and I felt like I couldn't do anything else but focus in on getting this tumor out and being healthy again. And it kind of feels like I'm on the up and up, and I'm back to kind of getting where I want to be. And I want to bring this to you guys and tell you guys about this, because it's just so important to be your own advocate for yourself. And if you feel like something's wrong, or you feel like uncomfortable about a lump or something, and you want a test, like, ask for it. Like, really do. Like, I didn't want to leave the doctor's office just assuming it was a cyst. I wanted to get that mammogram, and I feel very lucky that I'm able to do that, and I was able to do that so quickly. Yeah, I'm probably saying a lot in this, but I say it when I get like rambly and uncomfortable, and it's just a thing I'm working on. So that's my life update. I'm happy to be alive and here and sharing it with you. I hope that if you have gone through this, or have been recently diagnosed, or you know a friend or a family, a loved one, whatever, I hope this just makes you feel less alone. And if you've ever felt like you were unsure about something, or you wanted to get something checked, maybe this is your sign to do so. And I just send so much love and healthy, positive energy to all of you. I have a lot of life changes coming up. Our lease conveniently is up at the end of April, so we are moving. Don't know where yet. That is a whole other fiasco that I'm dealing with, but you will hear more about that in my next video. So yeah, I love you all very much. I'm happy to see you again. I'm happy to chat with you again, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!